Hey, my guy, what's going on? What's going on,
Yo,
everybody?
what is
Nostalgiac.
up, Zay? How you doing, my friend?
How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Yo, Shani Sunshine, welcome. 90s kid in the house. Yes. All proud 90s kids, early 2000s kids. This is the spot to be on because we have the fucking coolest stream on Twitch when it comes to this. It's truly amazing. You need to give yourself an introduction for those that don't know you. I was born in 99. Do I count? Yo, early 2000s, man.
Yeah,
early 2000s.
totally counts. Yo, what is up, everyone? Thank you again, Zay, for having me on. It's been an honor. I know we've been chatting about doing this for a cool minute now, so I'm happy that we can connect. My name's n0stalgiac, and what I do is you pretty much summed it up, like pretty dead on. The fact that you call it a vibe, like that's an honor. That means
Such
I'm doing
a vibe.
something right. So what the stream is we pretty much just get together, we just vibe together in the chat, and we watch 90s stuff, 90s, 2000s. Some of us who were teenagers back in the 2010s, I got you too.
Hey.
And every so often we go into like the 80s too. We go a little further back, and it's always chill, and no matter where you're coming from on this globe, I got you with the nostalgia. I don't just do American nostalgia. I've had friends from the UK, from Australia, from everywhere, Brazil, all across the globe. And if y'all just need your nostalgia kick in the middle of the night, yo, I got you. So that's typically what we do. We watch cartoons, TV clips, commercials. That there's so much joy to be found in those just nostalgic commercials too. Like,
man,
I've seen you in
man.
the chat a couple times. Yeah,
You repping, man. Look at this shirt. Be kind and
I
be
got
wrong
the-
with
yo,
the Blockbuster. The classic
shout out.
Blockbuster. That
The
shit is amazing.
Blockbuster. Thank you. No, shout out to Shani Sunshine. I heard she was in the chat. That's my lovely fiance that got me this shirt. She knows. So applause to her.
Amazing. Yo, shout out to partners that support their partners in their content creation dreams.
Yes.
That shit is
So
so
important.
important. So important.
So important as a creative. Like, I can't stress it enough. Like, of course, love is bottom line what you want in a partner, but when that love comes with support for your going after your dreams and stuff, that is I believe that's key.
Straight up, yo.
key,
And like content creators, like to be a partner of a content creator, like sometimes you have to work on content and edit it, and it takes hours and a lot of time.
Yeah.
And we were kind of discussing this earlier, how you need to find a balance and you need to give attention to your relationship. And so big shout out to all the partners out there.
Yeah.
Electric Dream, welcome, greetings, salutations. Finally made my way to a stream
welcome
while it's
in,
live.
welcome,
Cheers,
Electric
big
Dream.
cheers. Welcome. Sending love to all in the chat. Hey, having someone just believe in you is crazy.
All about love.
Do not take that shit for granted at all. So what is it about the 90s and like early 2000s that really inspired you to make like a channel and kind of a brand around it?
Yo, no, great question. Right out the gate. Yeah, we were just having a chat. I was just having a chat with my fiance earlier about this, just how funny how it started. With Twitch, I really didn't have a vision straight up as to what I wanted to do. It really started with an idea like, you know what? Like, I see a lot of people playing like these new games. You got your Apex players, you got your Halo Infinite. Like, total respect. I love those games. But I wanted to bring it back. The OG N64, PS1, that thing. So when I first started, this was even before I was nostalgic. I was such a Twitch noob. I was using my first and last name as my as not no disrespect if people do that, of course, like
your full government name.
Yeah, but Giacomo Thalay, like, it's an original name, but it's kind of a mouthful when you're just trying to say like, hey, I'm streaming.
That sounds like a painter, man. You sound like you got a painter. Like, it sounds like you would be a content creator in some way.
It's so funny you say that, dude. You know what I was doing right before we hopped on the call?
You were painting?
I was painting.
I
was literally painting.
Man.
Yeah, I do paint too. So like all kinds of arts. But yeah, no, I started off with just wanting to do retro gaming. So I played some Tetris, I played some Pokemon Snap, and that was fun. And it's still something I do on the stream to this day. So if you want your retro game fix, I got you. But I wanted something a little bit more, and it's so funny how this worked out. I was late on Twitch one night and I saw someone, and it sucks because I actually never got that streamer's name because I never saw that streamer stream again. And she was watching some like OG VHS tapes that she had, and I was like, wait, you can do that? And and during one of my streams, I was just like, you know what? I want to pull up a commercial for something like that I was playing. And then I was like, you know what? This feels right. Like I love gaming, but if I'm being completely honest with myself, you in the chat, like I've always had that thing where it's like, I don't know if anybody's ever gotten this out there in the chat, when you're playing a game and you're not 100% confident in your gaming skills, and you have all these eyes on you, and you're like, like I didn't, you know. So I was like, but I do know TV. I know movies. I know you've mentioned you're a digital creator as well in the video space. You know,
Yes.
I went to school for film. So I had the experience already for filmmaking. I've directed films, I've acted in a couple of projects. So I knew what went on behind the scenes. And I even took like radio classes as well, which is, you know, kind of Twitch is a visual podcast medium. So I had the equipment already. I had the webcam, I had the lights, I had the microphone, I had the computer. So it all made sense, you know, to just go that way. And you know, on one hand, like, it's fun to just vibe with everyone, live out some childhood memories, and just, you know, hang out and chat about it. But I've also used my platform as a medium for bringing positivity, because you know, as with all social medias, like, you have your light, you have your dark, and neither one is inherently good or bad. But it's about working together and finding that balance. And I think, for me personally, I've used nostalgia as not as a way of like, oh no, my childhood's slipping away, come back. Like, I don't see it that way. I more use it as a way of like, hey, yo, I remember this shit. I was like 5 when this came out, and like, what else was I going through when I was 5? It's actually helped me heal from things that needed to be touched on so that I could move forward. And I think just because, with myself, and not to speak for everyone, but for those people who come to my stream, I'm going to assume you watch a lot of TV when you were younger. It takes you back to that place where you can either relive those childhood memories that we totally forget about with the hustle and bustle of, like, you know, the 9-to-5s, taking care of family, you know, things adulting, as they call it. And yeah, exactly. You know how it be.
Yeah,
so
man.
like, yeah, so it's just a way to decompress from your night, but also be like, hey, you know what? Like, this is, you know, it's getting me back in touch with that inner child that, you know, as much as we watch commercials, like, at the end of the day, like, who are we kidding? We know that those commercials were there solely to sell us toys, to sell us fast food. But we didn't know that back then.
No,
we watched it through a lens of, wow, this is really creative. Like, this is fun, colorful stuff. We remember the mascots more than we remember the food, for the most part. So it's kind of taking it back to, like, nothing changed. The only thing that changed was our mindset growing up. So kind of just vibing with the chat in a safe space, all inclusive, 420 friendly if you're into that, and very, very vibey, like you said earlier.
Very vibey, man. And that's what it is, because I have so many good memories of being like a child and like waking up early to watch things, like while I ate cereal before breakfast or something like that. And like, the days just felt longer back then. Like, they felt like they just never ended. Like, I would remember like hanging out with my friends, and it would be like 9 o'clock, and it was like, yo, it's now like 12 o'clock, but it feels like the whole day is just like right in front of you. Whereas now it feels like I'm trying to like cram things. I'm like, oh shoot, I need to do this, and I need to make dinner, and I need to go to the grocery stores, and like the day's not long enough. So that's really beautiful that like you focus on that stuff. And is it, I'm trying to think of, were you doing any content creation before Twitch? Because I know you said that you studied film, but did you do like YouTube? Did you do like a YouTube channel?
Yeah, so this goes way back. So n0stalgiac as a Twitch channel is still fairly young. I think we're gonna come up on our 1 year about in April or so. But before that, it existed in different other mediums. So shortly before, maybe about a year before, in 2020, I actually had a podcast that you can still find it like floating around on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and whatnot. It was called Millennial Nostalgia, which was essentially an audio version of what you see on the stream. But every episode I would tackle a different subject. Like, one episode, the most popular episode is me digging deep into The Brave Little Toaster, which was a movie a lot of us watched back in the day on Disney Channel. And then before that, it even existed as YouTube shorts, not shorts the way it is now, but some like, 10-minute YouTube videos. And if I'm being real honest, like just throughout those times, as creatives do, sometimes you just get discouraged when you see like views are low or people aren't responding the way you would want to. But with Twitch, I've found that there's a very accepting community. So I now remove the viewer count from my mind. And it's helpful to know, like, of course I want to acknowledge every viewer that's there, but I strive to put on the same kind of show that I would for one viewer that I would for 100. So that has become secondary, and it's helped me a lot. So I think it was just the idea was there, but the medium needed to be finessed. And I think Twitch is an amazing platform for the sort of stuff that we do, because you find it's not just like you're out seeking an audience. The audience finds you, and I think that's what's very special about it.
And what you do, like, I feel like it has to be visual. Like, I haven't heard the podcast. I actually did not know you started with a podcast, but the stuff that you do, like, it feels good to watch it alongside with you and watch your reactions, your facial expressions, like any commentary that you have on top of it, any memories that you link to the content you're watching. Like, it looks cool to just watch it as opposed to just audio. I'm gonna check out. Is the podcast still there? Like, have you?
I think it's still there. It was only like 10 episodes before I stopped doing it. I just got busy with some other filmmaking endeavors at the time. I will say, like, the podcast, it's cool, but it's not nostalgic. It was very planned. It was very scripted. You would, instead of visuals, like, you're right. Like, I think that was the discouraging thing about the podcast route, was you can't see it. At the time when it was just an audio podcast. So I would play audio clips from the films to be able to reference to, but it was all very planned, scripted, and I was a little too in my head. Whereas with Nostalgiac on Twitch, like, people will just say, like, hey, you remember this? I'm like, yo, let's look it up. And then you're getting a live nostalgic reaction with the chat, which I think is a special connection. More so than I think like having it just pre-recorded and then just seeing people's reactions after the fact.
And when you first got on Twitch, did you feel like it was like scripted and planned out, as you said? Like, was it rigid, or were you able to finally just like let loose? Like, at what point during this, like, since it hasn't even been a full year, like during this, when have you finally been able to be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna be myself?
Oh, that came in fairly early on. It was the first month or so was pretty rigid. I even like did a couple nights where I had a pre-planned schedule of like, all right, from 8 to 8:30 we're gonna watch this, 8:30 to 9 we're gonna watch that, and it was cool. But it just the stream of consciousness that comes from just flowing from one topic to another creates some sort of nostalgic magic that it's unexplainable. A lot of the stuff, especially recently, just the way the stream goes there, like, I'll have like multiple tabs open up on my screen ready to go, but sometimes we don't even touch most of them because the chat gives such good recommendations that it's like we'll watch a recommendation from one of the viewers, and then that will spur a memory of something else. And it's not just like I consider it not just a Twitch stream, but a stream of consciousness where it just flows, it just vibes. So to get back to your question, yeah, it took maybe about a month or so to start losing that rigidity of sorts. I think when I transformed, when I evolved from Giacomo Thalay to Nostalgiac, that's when it really started getting wild, especially when I started incorporating the visual alert screens. I'm sure you've seen some of those.
So good, once you start bringing up Thanos like twerking and stuff and everybody dancing, that shit is amazing, man. I love that. Like, I haven't come up on a year of streaming yet either. But when I first started streaming, I was very just like careful about what I said, like careful about like just making sure that I wasn't like saying anything offensive that would have been offensive to anybody else, stuff like that. And I started like still caring about that stuff. I obviously still care that people are comfortable in the chat and people feel comfortable in the community. But now I think I've cultivated more of a community that people know me and they know my sense of humor. They know just like the type of stuff that I say, where I don't feel as much as like I'm like, I don't know. It's less rigid for sure, and that just comes with like the people that come in and the type of relationships that you build with your community. And how would you describe your community?
Oh, I love my community so much. I refer to them as the nostalgiacs, which is like, I'm a nostalgiac, y'all are nostalgiacs. Like, we come together and vibe. I've met so many wonderful souls in the less than 1 year I've been streaming. Some of those people who were there from the very beginning before I was nostalgiac still come in. And it's so cool to see that. And there's people from all walks of life, streamers from all different areas, doing, streaming different things. And the fact that they find some peace and solace and some comfortability in my stream, and that's what I wanted. Yes. That's what I want. I wanted it to be a kickback. That's essentially what I want. Especially the stream started in the midst of the pandemic where I didn't see anyone. And I still don't get to see everyone as often as I would like to. So it's nice to have this safe virtual space where we can still vibe and chat. Yeah. And get together and watch cartoons. It's the way I see it is a giant slumber party. Like everyone, because my streams usually take place at the latest hour of the night. Like if y'all were kids watching Nick at Night, Adult Swim, like this is the time. That's the time frame that I usually go live. I've done early streams too, but it just seems like the late night vibe is where a lot of people come through, and it's so wonderful, so much support. Shout out to if there are any nostalgic community members in the chat, I appreciate you. Big shout out to you, yeah. And extra shout out to the lurkers, because they are the backbone of Twitch. They're keeping it going. So applause to y'all as well.
Hey, hell yeah, I love that. Yeah. I love that. Man. Yeah. I love people that really build relationships with their community, know inside jokes with them and everything.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Leo DiCaprio, it is nostalgiac. Yes,
nostalgia.
Yes,
it is. Yeah,
he said it before. Nostalguac. That would be a good down the future.
That would be a good spin-off, like a animated spin-off where it's just me as an avocado. Like I fucks with it. That sounds
man,
tight.
That would be a good emote, man.
That would be a good emote.
That would be a good emote right there.
Leo DiCaprio. Thank you for that idea. Yeah. Thank you for that.
What's it called? Can you explain what boof is? Boof is something that I've come across on your channel.
Boof is something you come across a lot. I mean, if anyone is here in the chat, please give XAVE and his community some boof in the chat.
Some boof. What is boof?
Some boof. So boof at its rawest form is weed. It's marijuana. At its base level. That's how it started. It just started with a meme that I saw of Thanos and Thor getting lit together and them saying pass the boof. I thought that was funny, so my fiance and I started using that with each other. As the stream evolved though, it became a little more deeper than that. So I don't typically use I don't use boof just to get faded and do whatever. I'm very intentional with it. I use it for its original purpose as plant medicine. And I think that in tandem with the nostalgia helps me process things from the past that I need to get over to move forward with my content creation and my life in general. And I use it very intentionally. And sometimes it even helps me remember oh shit, yo, that was a funny video from the 90s. Yo, let me look that up. So it's very much that. And I totally respect people who don't utilize it. And that's fine. Even for me personally, as the stream's getting more advanced, I boof less. So yeah, it's less boof because now I'm finding I don't necessarily need an external source to get boofed. So for
we're still talking about marijuana, right?
We're talking about marijuana. I don't necessarily need marijuana to have a good time.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that's what we were still talking about.
That's what we're talking about. So boof can be whatever brings you peace at the end of the day. If staying hydrated and water is your boof, that's your boof. If you like to have a little sip of wine or a shot before tuning into the stream, and that's where you find your piece of whatnot, in a good spirit, in a healthy way, of course, then that's your boof. Or if just watching cartoons is your boof, for me, what started off as the definition just being dank kush, dank weed, boof is more what helps you find you in a way, what helps you tap into that inner child self. Not that like I was a 5-year-old like, yeah, you're like, no, I wasn't. No, let's not get it twisted. But it does help with that a little bit in my experience. And so boof just became kind of the channel's mantra, like boof, boof, boof. We used to have this thing called the land of boof, where for certain channel points, there would be a bunch of dank kush behind me while some music would be playing. And
is that
it's
still
just been
redeemable?
Fun. You know what? I took it down just for the Christmas holidays, and because like late at night, I'll be real with the chat. Just anybody wondering where Land of Boof went. Sometimes I would put so much effort and so much energy into that one segment, I would be fucking dead for the rest of the stream. so it is coming back. If anyone's watching, I was just adjusting my sound alerts earlier, so it is coming back. It'll be a little different, but yeah, it will be coming back. That is a staple of the series, and I know people miss it, so it will be coming back. People want the booth.
I gotta dance on my stream too, and like when I first did it, I was like full force, like giving it all energy. And now after like a couple redeems and like it's been I've had it on for like a few weeks, it's just become lazier and lazier. I get so lazy with it.
Yeah, the way that I figured is like, if I can't give 100%, I may as well just not do it, because the chat deserves a good time. And if I'm finding myself like 4 a.m. already going to bed and someone redeems that, it's like, okay, all right, let's muster up this strength again. Or on the flip side, it energizes me, and we got another 2 hours to go.
And then you don't stop.
But to get back to your question, boof started off as weed. It's a very 420 friendly stream, but it's not, boof and weed aren't mutually exclusive. If you just like it as a catchphrase, that's cool too, you know.
Oof. Hey, Oof. We got a lot of good reception in the chat. I see we do. Boof, boof, boof. NCTV,
I'd be boofing on the stream.
Yeah. I get, what is, Electric Dream, red wine and iceberry vape for me. That's the boof right there.
Ooh. Chef's kiss.
Ooh, chef's kiss. Leo DiCaprio asked, boof or boof? It's with the zeros. Yeah, it's with the zeros.
It's Leo. With the zeros. I do 3 zeros because it's so funny.
With 3 zeros.
Originally.
Yep. Yeah.
It wasn't originally, but Twitch wouldn't let me. Apparently that's a blocked term on
boof.
Twitch.
Well, I've heard boof on Urban Dictionary. It's like when you put pills up your butt.
You know what? And I've heard that dictionary term too. And that's another reason why I swapped it, because I don't want people thinking I'm doing that. I mean, if they do, cool. Like, I mean, I don't care if y'all people think I'm doing that. I'm not doing that. But I also was like, don't get it twisted. I'm not, no disrespect. If that's your vibe and that's your booth,
but that's not
then more
what
power
you're
to you.
talking
But that's
about.
not what I'm about.
Yeah. Hey, Totori, I'm sorry. You can't, right now, there's no sound alerts because we have a guest on. It's interview night. Once I figure out how to give back channel points, I'll do that, but I'm going to be serious with you. I have no idea how to do that, but I will look it up. Grand Piano Man, welcome. What's it called? And also, I should have said this at the beginning. If we don't get to your comment in the chat, we will try our best to get to it. If the guest is giving an answer, I don't want to cut them off or anything. So I appreciate everybody who's here tonight. Happy Sunday. Welcome. Thank you for being here. If I don't get to your comment right away, I promise I will get back to it at some point. But we are having a good ass time. Now, the next question is, and we kind of spoke about this earlier, is how do you balance, everything in life, like content creation, relationships, full-time jobs, part-time jobs, whatever it is else that's going on in your life. How do you find the way to balance all that?
Oh, that's a great question. It is definitely something I could touch on. Before I answer that, though, I will honor the jump scare alert with a oh shit, you got me.
Hey,
that was frightening.
That was frightening.
Anyway,
I'm gonna edit that in later. We'll fix it in post.
Yeah, we can fix it in post so that your viewer gets the reward point. But yeah, no, a balance. Time management is a virtue that I'm still mastering. It's a day by day struggle, dude. Like, but it's not impossible, because I used to have a mindset back in the day. I used to have a 9-to-5 job that, nice people and everything, but I just didn't like the work. It was within the realm of content creation, but it wasn't the kind of content I was drawn to creating. So I had, and no disrespect to these people, but I had a lot of people who had no idea what goes behind content creation, telling me how to create content. I don't know as a creator how frustrating that can be.
Oh yeah. I know those type of people, man. It's like people who literally sit at desks and think like, oh, I got this great idea, we should do this, without knowing what goes into any of it.
Absolutely. And that's and it's frustrating. So what I had to do was, and again, shout out to my parents, because they were very, very helpful at the time, very supportive. When they saw me at my lowest low, they were like, if you need to take some time off from work to find something you truly enjoy, like just save up and we'll help as much as we can. So that's exactly what I did. And it seemed like once it was painful, because I had been working there for quite a long time, almost 10 years. So it felt like I was kind of giving up on something. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like, no, I wasn't giving up. I was actually doing the opposite. Like, for me to stay there would be me giving up. For me to leave, as hard as it could be, it was the first step. So it was after that I took some time to travel. I went to Hong Kong, and that's actually where I met my fiance in person for the first time. So we met in Hong Kong, because she was working over there at the time, and we came back, and it seemed like all the doors were opening up. Then I was getting opportunities to work on film sets. I would have the opportunity to be in a Manscaped commercial on TV, and fast forward, a couple years later, now I have a new job where it's completely the opposite. We're all content creators for YouTube, and it's beautiful because we bounce ideas off of each other. There's no judgment. It's just a lovely space to work in. And I have a couple of jobs at the moment besides, streaming on Twitch. But here's the thing, Xave, none of them feel like jobs, because I'm truly enjoying what I'm doing. And I think that, getting back to your question about the time management, it helps a lot, because when you're in a position, in a relationship, in a job, where in a home where you are mentally being drained every day, time stops and you don't want to create for yourself sometimes. That's what happened for me. Because it's like, okay, well, I'm so drained from content creating for all these other people, I don't want to do it for myself. Now I'm at a job content creating with other folks where it's like, damn, these guys are inspiring. I want to do more, and I'm learning, Wow. And shout out to them too, like, other Latinx content creators, the Crazy Gorilla. I work with them, so shout out to them as well.
I gotta check them out.
Yeah, no, we got a pretty good following. They've been active for about like 13 years now, so I'm very blessed to be able to join the squad.
What kind of content is it?
They do, on their flagship channel, they do skits, very, very like based in Mexican American history and culture. And I'm the lead editor of the sister channel, Mama, which is about Mexican moms trying different things, either touching on stuff from Mexican culture, like the foods, or experimenting and experiencing some American stuff, watching TikToks, trying American, Mexican versions of foods. And it's fun. Like we have a pretty good following. We have about 1.5 million on the flagship, and we're closing in on 500,000 subscribers on the Mama channel. So
wow,
it's a fun time. Yeah,
that does sound real cool. Tsundere. We definitely got to check that out after. It's on YouTube. Yeah. I'll send you the link in Discord afterwards. For sure. That's amazing, man. Yeah, and shout out to all the sexy Latinx creators. For real, Leo the Crap.
No, we out here. We all out here.
We really out here. I love it, man. I love that type of stuff, like, because everything you were saying, like, really, really resonated with me, because the same thing happened to me, man. I was, there's a lot of similarities I feel like I've sensed in this. I think we're both born 93. Is that correct?
Yep. Oh yeah, 93 baby. There we go.
Hey. What's it called? I also work in film and video editing as a videographer, and I used to work at this place where, man, it just got so tiring of the content that we were creating that I just hated video editing. I really fucking hated it. I would get home, I wouldn't want to work on any of my personal projects. I would just be like, man, fuck editing. I'm not doing that. I do this for like this job that I hate. By the time I get home, I'm not doing it anymore. And then I went on to a new job where now I'm around people that like actually truly like they inspire me. And not that my old job didn't inspire me. I think it definitely did when I first started there. But you get to a point where sometimes you outgrow things, or your interests change. The type of things that you want to create change. So obviously, like at first there was something that lured me there, but I outgrew it. And then when I got to this new spot, I was like, wow, I found the love in editing again. I found the love in video creating again. And it doesn't feel like a job anymore. So that when I do my personal projects, it doesn't feel like a chore. It doesn't feel like I have to do this.
Yeah, no, I'm so happy that you found that, bro, because like that's so important. And I bet you like let me ask you this: if you hadn't found that swap in your work, do you think the Twitch stream would be a thing for you?
Man, I don't know. It's a really good question. It all kind of so I also did a podcast. These are the more similarities. I did a podcast before I did Twitch. I tried doing a little bit of YouTube. What I found with YouTube was it was just hard to be consistent. Like with Twitch, you can go live and there's a lot of pre-production that goes into it. If you want to make it a really good stream, there's like a lot of stuff with overlays, alerts, stuff that you could really customize it. But for the most part, you could turn on a camera and go live, and there's less preparation than writing a whole script, editing, making sure that you cut it down, and then rewriting the script. And like the YouTube stuff, to do that every day or to even do it 3 times a week, which is what I do with Twitch, it just felt really fucking difficult. Like, especially if you're doing something that is like anything with like current events and stuff, it gets extremely hard because by the time you're done with the video, the society might be on to the next thing. And you know, with people's attention spans, like things move fast, man. So that's what I really liked about Twitch, is that you could do it more often. You still need to create clips and you still need to create social media stuff, but you could just do it a little bit easier than YouTube for I don't know, the long run, like just doing it consistently.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that one, man. Yeah, the whole thing about you said it beautifully about, you know, the world moves so quick and audiences move so quick that you have a bomb ass idea this week, by next week it's gone.
It's gone. But yeah, like nobody cares about it.
Nobody cares. But like on Twitch, you say, oh, that shit just happened today, let me talk about it tonight. You know, it takes a little extra effort, but you whip up a clip and you pop it on a social media platform and it's already there.
Exactly.
I think with Twitch, and I think the thing that's beautiful about Twitch, you know, of course I love YouTube, I work in YouTube, but with that, we typically create more evergreen content. It's not wholly topical for our channel. But with Twitch, with my content, it can be spur of the moment because I'm not in my head. And that's the thing with writing scripts and like everything you just said with the pre-production and actually shooting it and editing. You watch the same clip over and over again. You start getting, you risk getting hypercritical of yourself and then being like, nah, fuck it, I don't want to do it anymore. And that's a trap because whatever you were feeling in that moment, your gut instinct, your mind instinct, that's probably where the magic is. Like, sure, you can finesse it if you'd like to, but I'd say you're already like 90% of the way there.
Just from that, when you think about it and you have that initial passion. Yeah, man. And so what are the things that you don't like about Twitch? Because I was going to get into like, so one of the aspects of it, what I really liked about YouTube, what I thought was cool about like the transition from watching things live and like pre-programmed TV to then streaming, was that you could catch it at any time. So like, you know, you could watch a Netflix show at any time. You don't have to be like, because I would miss, that was the problem as a kid. Like I would have a favorite cartoon show, but one weekend I would miss it or whatever. I would miss it one day when it aired, and then I would be like lost. I wouldn't be able to re-find it. Whereas streaming, you could instantly find it. So now Twitch, you kind of have to be there at the time that your favorite creators are broadcasting. I think some people watch VODs. Me personally, I don't really watch VODs that much. I'll watch VODs if like I know for a fact I can't make it to the live broadcast and I really want to see what they did. But in terms of like my channel, I don't see too many people watching VODs. Like it's kind of a thing where like you have to be there when they're live. So what are some of the things that you dislike about Twitch? Like what are the things that I don't know, Twitch can improve on?
Totally, yeah. I mean, like with any platform, like there, you know, that people enjoy, there's always room for improvement, for growth. I think what you touched on, the VOD situation, I mean, this is just me because I'm a streamer who plays VHS clips of and stuff that has music and clips. It's a wonder, it's a miracle that I'm around because like, you know, with that whole DMCA shit, like so I think like again, getting muted in the VODs is a little annoying.
That shit
but
sucks,
at the same,
man.
It sucks, but at the same time, it's like, you know what? I'm grateful that I'm at least like that's the worst it's been. Like,
no
it's
strikes
just a
or anything.
Yeah. So I think that's the perk of being there live. But I totally understand when people can't be there. I appreciate the sentiment when people reach out and say, sorry, n0stalgiac, I missed your stream. But I also find it kind of sad that I've gotten messages like that, because I never want anyone to ever feel obligated to tune in. The fact that you're saying sorry is like, I appreciate the sentiment, but apologies are never needed.
Yeah.
If you're in my stream for 1 second, that's one more second than you would be if you weren't there. So I appreciate everything. So I think that just leads into the next the thing about Twitch is like luckily the vibes are very high at n0stalgiac. We've rarely ever gotten anyone trying to quote unquote kill the vibe. And if that were to ever happen as the channel grows, I know it's not coming from a personal place. There's no one out there who's like, I just fucking hate n0stalgiac, I'm gonna talk shit. Like that's never gonna, it's always somebody's dealing with something. And the only way they know how to deal with it is to lash out in that way. And I'm coming from a place of empathy. So if that were to ever occur, I'm gonna show love no matter what. Like, yeah, I might mute you because I don't want anyone else getting hurt in the process, but I'm not gonna, stop the stream or anything like that. And I think that just goes, luckily I've been very blessed that hasn't happened, and knocking on wood it doesn't. But I've seen so many of my friends, other fellow content creators of color, who have dealt with hate and negativity in their chat, who may not share the same empathetic mindset as me. And it of course everyone handles things at their own pace based on their own, everyone's feelings are valid. So to see people hurting, especially during that whole time a couple months ago where the hate raids were going on, yeah, that was something that I really hope Twitch steps their game on. Every so often I get those other things. They're not hate fueled. They're just kind of there, like those like, hey, you want to be famous, click here to get hundreds of and I'm like yo, like I whenever that happens during the chat, I joke about it, I laugh it off, because I know it's just a bot. You got to turn it into content. Like the other day I was like, yo, has anybody ever clicked on that link? Like we might be sleeping on it. Like if I click on that shit and then my viewer count goes to like 1 million, I'll be like, yo, that was the fucking that was the secret the whole time.
The bots the whole time were like, man,
it was
why is
the
nobody
bots
clicking?
the whole time. It's like they're sad. They're like, I'm just trying to help.
Yeah,
like,
we just been trying to help the whole time. What the fuck? Why is nobody clicking?
For real.
We're misunderstood.
They're just misunderstood robots. Like you see it in movies all the time. But yeah, I would say that, and yeah, just openness to seeing new streamers, to experience new streamers. I use the term small streamer solely for hashtags to help other people find the stream, because that's just the term that we have adopted. Like if you're under X amount of followers or viewers or what have you, you're a small streamer versus someone who's on the front page. I typically, that's about the extent that I'll use the term. I don't really like that term, because what is the small and big thing that we're doing? Like no one, this is such a new platform. And yeah, granted, Twitch has been around for years, probably over a decade, but it was mainly dedicated to video gaming. So I appreciate all the gamer communities out there who are having us be on this platform and use it for a whole different purpose than it was originally intended. But I think like with most things, like with YouTube even, it just started as a place where you just host videos, and now there's actual content creators and networks and studios using it. So I think giving other streamers a shot it's a beautiful thing, and I think that's how I found most of my people that come through and support. And I'll try to always support other streamers as well. I like to be personable, and I get it. As your stream grows, you have so many people in the chat. Sometimes it's hard to catch up. I always try to make at least the effort to do so, and not at the end of the day see it as like, oh, how many subs am I giving? Because I never, of course, subs are always nice. It's wonderful. But Twitch is a free platform at the end of the day. Yeah, sure, you might get the odd ad once in a while. It doesn't faze me if you're subbed or not, so long as you're here and you're enjoying the content. So yeah, I think just kindness in general goes a long ways, especially on Twitch. and also, encouraging others, not putting people down. I guess it all just comes down to kindness, really. And I've seen, not to say like, oh, I've seen majority of people not being kind. It's couldn't be further from the truth.
The opposite, yeah.
It's the opposite. I've felt more support and love on Twitch than I have with any other social media platform.
Same.
So it hurts to hear that there's channels that I may not know about who are experiencing the complete opposite. And I think that's why I want n0stalgiac, the channel, to be a safe space where people can just come and vibe, and there's no negativity. It's all just positive vibes the whole time. And that's where Booth comes in too. Booth can also just be positivity and kindness.
I love it, man. Hell yeah. That's beautiful. Code Wolf came in. What's up, man? Happy Sunday. Twitch wasn't gaming at the start. Justin TV was more of talk radio. See, I had no idea it was
I didn't
Justin
know that
TV,
either,
man. Happy Sunday. Thank you for that information. I had no idea. To be honest, like, I wasn't on Twitch until I started content creating on Twitch. Like, I did not watch Twitch as just like a viewer, you know what I mean? Like, once I became a streamer, and then I started watching other streamers, and like I started just supporting people and going into Discords and finding new people, that's when I started actually using Twitch. But before this, like, I was never on Twitch, like, the same way as, like, I was a viewer on YouTube before I was putting content on YouTube. I was a viewer. I listened to podcasts before I started making a podcast. Whereas Twitch, like, if I didn't start streaming, I don't know if I ever would have been on here.
Yeah, no, and I mean, that's how it all starts, right? You start as an observer, or else you don't know what it is that you want to do. Like, and it I don't know if you've ever faced this mental challenge of when you're in the middle of something and then you see somebody else doing something either similar or something, and you're like, wow, that's really cool. But they're so much cooler. Oh my gosh, I just may as well not do it. Like, I've had that mindset before, and I've just learned to just like, hey, mind, shut up. Like, that's it. It's not about who's doing it first. It's just about you doing it. If you enjoy it, not even about it's not even just about who's doing it best, because everyone has their own opinion over what that looks like.
Exactly. And so much of Twitch is really just personality. Like, people love to come on here and see the personality of the streamer and be able to engage with them like one-on-one directly in real time. So like, you could be doing the same exact thing as somebody else, but your personality is different. The way you execute it is going to be different, and people are going to react to it differently because you are a different person. And that's what I really do enjoy about Twitch. It's just like, people can get in here and it does feel like you're just hanging out at your friend's house. Like, and that's what I did. That's what I did growing up. Like, me and my friends would hang out at this one dude's basement, and we would play video games, and we would just chill there. So that's what this feels like, just digitally.
It's a digital world. It's pretty much metaverse kickbacks, essentially. Like,
the metaverse kickback.
We're getting into that whole virtual realm. Like, you and I would not be having this conversation right now if it were not for Twitch.
Yep.
So I'm grateful that it linked us together.
Straight up, man. And so what do you think, like, what are like your metrics of what makes a good streamer? Like, what keeps you around in somebody's stream longer, and what is it that you look for when you're looking like to find someone?
Gotcha. No, that's a great question. So first and foremost, like, it's hard for me to say, like, use the terms like good or bad streamer, because everyone does things in their own way. The thing that I at the end of the day, I kind of get, you get vibes from people. If they're doing it purely from a place of enjoyment and love for what they're doing, it shines through. I've found the odd streamer once in a, not odd, but like once in a while, I'll see a streamer who sadly will be playing, and you go in their chat, see how they're doing. They'll be like, oh, the stream sucks today. Like, oh, it's not, I may as well just stop. And it's like, you want to be there to encourage that person, but it's ultimately the person's own responsibility to do it for a reason that they want to. And I get getting discouraged. I totally get having maybe not the turnout that you would want. But I think when you abandon those expectations, you find the reality that you actually want. Because the numbers, if you're doing it for the numbers, if you're doing it for the number of subs, if you're doing it to get X amount of chatters in your chat, I don't know. For me, that's not a valid reason to stream. And again, if that's somebody's reason for streaming, I'm not gonna fault them on it. Like I totally respect you. I'm just speaking from personal perspective. It becomes a business at that point. It becomes a business, and the finances are secondary. You know, are the primary thing. In that. But if you're and you know, when it comes to corporations, you know, they're big companies that are now on Twitch. Like, let's just be real, they're doing it for the money. And I respect that, because they're a brand who is moving into this new generation. They have to keep up with the times. That's not me though. I'm just a guy who likes watching random shit on YouTube and nostalgic stuff and sharing it with others. And that's my why. So the money comes secondary, and it sucks, because I'm not gonna act like there haven't been days where that, you know, the money thing comes to my mind. Like it happens. But sometimes lately I've been able to stop myself and be like, don't you press that start streaming button if you're only thinking about how many raids, how many subs, how many follows you're gonna get, because now you're not being authentic. And so anytime y'all see me live, it's not for that. If I've pressed the start streaming button, that you'll know that you're coming into a genuine stream, because I've learned self-control to not allow myself to stream if that's my primary mindset.
And Grand Piano Man asked, I want to answer it as well. Can't you do both? Like, I guess be genuine, but also I guess like do it for the purpose of making money and turning it into a business.
Absolutely, yes. You definitely can. I don't think it has to be black or white. And you know, pardon if it came off that way when I said it, but that I think before you set the intention for the making of the money, like, you have to enjoy what you're doing first. Like, it's like with any job. And, you know, I've had people say like, oh no, well, jobs, you know, I gotta put money on, you know, food on the table somehow. And that's true. Like, I'm not gonna fault anyone for that. Like, I've done it, I'm sure you've done it, like a lot of us have done it. But I also offer this, like, this analogy. You know, when you go on a plane and they tell you, like, if the oxygen masks were to lower, to put it on, like, who do you put it on first? Do you put it on yourself or the child? If you know, people's instinct will be like, no, I'm going to put it on the child first, because the child is most vulnerable in that state. And I'll be real with you, I used to answer it that way too. But consider this, you don't have a mask on, you're trying to put the oxygen mask on your kid, and then you lose consciousness. Now you're not helping anyone. Now neither one. So if you're not doing it for you first and foremost, your enjoyment, like, if you're doing it for your wallet, you know, so be it. But ultimately, like, I feel like your viewers will know. And if you want to be an entertaining streamer, if you want to provide some sort of fun for them, and again, everyone's intention with streaming is different. I respect everyone's rationale is valid in my eyes. I'm just speaking from personal perspective here. The viewers will know, and you'll know. So you have to put yourself first and your enjoyment first, and then I found that's when the money comes in. That's when the viewers come in. That's where, because people see that you're genuine and that you're not just gimme the money. Of course, it's everyone's dream, probably. I'm not gonna speak for everyone, but most people's dreams to have a job that they enjoy and make funds for. So your viewer who commented that, yeah, that's ultimately the goal, and I love that. And it's not like I don't look at the analytics and see like, okay, well, Sunday performs better than Tuesday, like that kind of stuff. It does help to have those analytics. But if that's your Bible, then it's not, because, you know, you might feel like, hey, you know, I didn't do good, you know, I didn't get the numbers on last Tuesday, but today I'm feeling good to stream, and it's a Tuesday, then stream because you want to. Like, don't calculate your own decisions based off of numbers and money and the bottom dollar. You can still enjoy it and make money, but your enjoyment has to come first, or else that's not gonna happen. You know, I say, like, if people are subscribing to my channel and I'm not happy in my stream, then why did they, like, I feel bad that they subscribe to my channel, because I'm not giving them the show that they you know, donated for. But I know you had some perspective on that too.
100%. Yeah, speaking just from personal experience, I remember, like, when I would do anything for content creation, and I knew that there was like, oh, I gotta like blow up, like I need my shit to go viral, I need a lot of eyes on my shit, I need people to see it. It felt like I would feel the added pressure, and that added pressure would make stages of that content creation where you would hit the lows. Those lows felt really fucking shitty, like because of that added pressure on top of those lows, where you're just like, damn, like I need this to happen now, and it's not happening right now, and I feel really fucking bad about this. And then you start feeling more like, well, maybe I shouldn't do this, maybe I'm just not fit for this, like maybe people are just better than me at this, and that's what it is. But when I would do things and there wasn't that, like, because I'm not gonna lie, man, like I go into a lot of these things, and maybe it's because my job, like what I make money from, like my 9 to 5 is content creation, just for a different thing and like a whole like different avenue. My mentality when I go into like creating a podcast or a YouTube or a Twitch channel is like, damn, one day I want to live off this. Like one day I really want this to be like my full-time gig that I could focus on, and I want the freedom that comes with content creation where I can make things when I'm inspired, and I could take breaks when I'm not inspired, and I don't have to feel like, nah, I can't, you know, like there are days where I'm like, I don't want to do my job, but it's fucking sucks, you better show up or you're getting fucking fired, and that's what it is. So I always do walk into these things and I'm like, you know, I really want this to be like what I do for a living. But I've just learned to, I don't know, like I've learned to focus less on like, I need to make this happen right now. Like I need this next post to blow up. I really hope this goes viral and like millions of people on TikTok see it. Like I've learned to just put that to the side and not really think about that stuff. Cause when I used to think about that, I would get super fucking sad when it ultimately didn't happen. And it's so true. Like you'll see memes about like people think that success is like a straight line or whatever. Meanwhile, it's like going
not
backwards.
Linear whatsoever.
It's not linear at all. So like that's really the mentality that I've tried to get into. And I do want to catch up with chat though, because they've been saying a whole bunch of cool stuff too.
Oh yeah, let's catch up.
Hensy, the best content comes when you just want to make some shit you enjoy. Numbers don't equate to quality of the experience you had making it. I've had amazing streams with 0 viewers and lazy ones with 25. Like straight up, it's straight up. And I always say like, make the content you enjoy. That way, if nobody watches it, if nobody sees it, at least you still enjoy it. At least you can still show your partner, hey, check out what I made, and you can enjoy, like, you know, you can have a smile on your face while you're doing it, as opposed to like, you know, making some shit and like you're just tired by the time you make it. You upload it and you never want to see it again. Like, man, I think about some musicians like performing hit songs like 50 Cent. This dude has had to have performed in the club 5 bajillion fucking times, to the point where like he's moved on. He's like in a whole different part of his life than when he made that song, but people will never not let him perform it. Like that's something he knows. If he has a concert, he's got to throw it on there at some point. And like, you know, I have no idea where the fuck I was going with that.
No, I love where you were going with that.
Other than just like, man, just do what you create, what you want to create. Code Wolf said, n0stalgiac, what's that gaming system on the floor behind you? That is something you said earlier. Pardon, Code Wolf, for not getting to that earlier, but they did ask. Yeah. What is that game? See, I was waiting for somebody to comment. That was a little Easter egg I just threw in the corner there. This is an OG N64 with Pokemon Snap loaded in there. Pokemon Snap is such a good game, man.
It's so good. It's so good. Of course, it's not always just there in the corner. I just threw that in as an Easter egg. So I was like, where can I throw the nostalgic stuff in? Because as you could tell, like right now, I just got my green screen behind me. On the n0stalgiac stream. And you've been there, Zave. It's a whole thing. I put myself on the TV. There's
you got the old looking TV, man, with the little antenna. It's so cool, man. That's what I love about everything, is that it just feels like my childhood. It really does feel like just waking up, watching that TV, just like trying to like finagle it so you have better connection. I am sad, like I missed a lot of good classic cartoons in our time, because I didn't have cable for a while. Like my family just couldn't afford cable, so I didn't have those shows. Right. So like things like Rocket Power and shit, stuff that my friends would all watch. I missed it in my childhood. So like now as an adult, there's actually a couple shows that I've gone back and I'm just like, yo, let me rewatch this as an adult, which is fucking cool, because you see all of the mature themes that they have that you don't understand as a kid. And then on top of that, you can just like watch it in a stream of just like nonstop. Like you don't have to wait a week for it to come out again. Like it's just straightforward, and I love that.
That's the beautiful thing about it now, is that you do get that, and I totally feel you. And like it's awesome you said that. Like I didn't even realize the privilege I had to have Nickelodeon, and you know, not all kids did. But now with the, you know, like you said, with the streaming world, you can go and see it with a refreshed perspective. Like I've been recently watching old episodes of Rugrats, and whereas a kid, I always vibed with what the babies were doing. Like now you watch it and you're like, wait, what are the adults up to? Like it's like, cause the adults in that show are like in their late 20s, early 30s, just like the ages we're at. And it's so interesting. Even if, you know, people watch the new Rugrats just dropped on Amazon Prime, it's essentially the same show, just a different animation style, and it takes place in the 2020s. So the adults have, you know, current types of jobs like coding and whatnot. But it's all there. So I think that's also the cool part with revisiting these shows is, yeah, you remember them, but now you can experience them differently
in a different perspective. Because like, you've grown now, so life is different. Yo, this is really cool comment. Zimma, welcome, happy Sunday. He said, yo, dope interview, my guy. I follow n0stalgiac on Instagram. I'm a 90s baby. Stand up, man.
90s
like,
baby. Thank you for the follow on IG, by the way. I appreciate you.
That's fucking dope. That's small ass world. That shit is amazing. Hensi TV, making stuff purely for clout, streams, views, etc. doesn't last because it's trendy. Making something you enjoyed has merit. It'll last the test of time regardless if you enjoy it. 100%.
100.
Leo DiCaprio, another 90s baby. Welcome everybody. And what's it called? It's always like a cool connection talking to other 90s people, because like we were the last generation to really like experience the world before social media and like and mass internet the way it is. Like I still remember like text messages when they were like, you have to hit the same number every time to get to
three
the
times just to get a letter.
And crazy stuff like that, like dial-up internet, like using modems and stuff like that. It's so cool that we have that connection purely off of just like the time period we were born.
Yo, I remember the early days of the internet, going to nick.com and disneychannel.com, and that was our online gaming. Like just like those kinds of flash sites. And even before then, like you said, like we had to wait a week to watch our favorite stuff. That's right. And if we missed it, then you're shit out of luck unless you find a rerun at some point. Like unless you had a VHS player and you taped it, but not everybody did that either.
No, definitely.
So so it's like, we were the last generation like swapping over. And that's the thing, like with the stream, is I try to take myself back to that time and be like, what was I watching then? Because like even I've even stumbled upon some stuff from like 2007 and up. So by that time I was already in high school. And it's so interesting, Xave, to watch some of those commercials even versus the ones that came out in the 90s. It just seems like at times like the media just started to get more cynical. It just started to get, you know, at times a little more mean-spirited than it was in the 90s, and it wasn't even that you know, far away. So like revisiting those like quote unquote newer stuff, it's very eye-opening how quick that changed. Like whatever happened to jingles? You remember jingles, like songs that would come up on the commercials,
the Hess truck, bro. I remember the Hess truck commercial every goddamn Christmas. The Hess truck is here. No. And now they don't do jingles anymore. They
don't do jingles anymore, but it's cool. Like so it's like if that's what the new generation likes, then cool. But I mean, like everyone's on TikTok. It's all music. Like, why not? Like, you know how many jingles would go viral on TikTok? Like, I see TikToks about people doing that, call JG Wentworth 877 cash now, like stuff like that. Like, where's that?
Celino and Barnes is like the last one, man. That's the last one. Celino, what was it? Shit, I forgot the jingle to it. Celino and Barnes, man. And they split up. That was the end of an era. Yeah, they split up, man.
That's probably why they don't do them anymore. It's like that was the last one.
That was it, man.
Like,
and Leo DiCaprio asked, have you ever gotten disappointed by any nostalgic stuff, like some stuff that you thought was great as a kid and has not aged well?
Yes, that happens from time to time. I'm trying to think of a concrete example. I think it also depends on my mindset in the day, like any given day. Because I'll use this as an example. As a child, I really loved the movie The Master of Disguise. I don't know if you've ever seen this. Is a
Master of Disguise. Which one is that?
The in a nutshell, the guy that's like turtle, like I don't know if you remember that. The story.
Am I turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
Yes, am I turtly enough for the Turtle Club? Like, like I loved that film as a kid, and then as I got older. And again, like you might relate to this going to school for film, you start learning what's a good movie and what's a bad movie. Mm-hmm. And then you start having all these outside opinions telling you what you like is wrong, especially if you want to be in filmmaking. Mm-hmm. So like later on in life, I realized that film has like a 1% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm just like, oh shit, like this isn't good. And I watched it in my mid-20s and I was like, this is trash. Like, how did I enjoy this? Mm-hmm. Funny thing happened though, because going through this, phase of mine watching stuff on nostalgia, I'm touching back into that like inner child of myself and being like, no, you only thought it sucked because someone else said it sucked. Mm-hmm. Like when you first watched this, the only thing that changed was an outside perspective. Mm-hmm. So my fiance had never seen it, so we watched it a couple nights ago. And granted, did I laugh as hard as I did as like an 8-year-old? No, not exactly. But I still wholly enjoyed it for what it was. Some of the jokes didn't age well. There's problematic stuff in it. but for the most part, like just the silliness of it was nice to be a kid again and watch that without the adult lens. But then there are other things out there that didn't exactly age the best. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of hard for me to find a concrete example of that. I think some Nickelodeon shows that I might have liked, not like past their prime, maybe aren't things I would watch. Like I know there was like Cat Scratch. Like I remember liking that as a kid. But yeah, see, there you go. Cat like Scratch. Not think, yeah. So like that's not one that calls to me to revisit. Yeah. But something like Rocket Power, something like Cat Dog, something like anything on the Cartoon Network, like Cartoon Fridays era. Those I still fucks with.
Those still
like,
bang. Those 100%. Still slap.
Yeah, those slap.
There's like there's movies and stuff that I thought was scary as a kid, like Jeepers Creeper. I really thought that shit was scary, and then I watched it as an adult, and I was like, all right, this is not that scary anymore.
No.
But also, like, have you watched on your stream, what's it called, like the old propaganda on weed and stuff? That shit is hilarious to go back and watch.
So funny you bring that up, Xave. So last 420, we did a 420 themed stream. My fiance and I watched this special called Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue. I don't know if you know what this is. Have you ever seen that one?
Which one?
Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue.
Nah, what is that? That's a cartoon? Is like a...
Yeah, it was a TV special that aired in the late 80s. No. And it's essentially it's Bugs Bunny, Winnie the Pooh, the Smurfs, Garfield, Muppet Babies, the list goes on, Ninja Turtles.
And they all fight?
They fight the war on drugs is what they do.
Oh, they brought them together to fight.
Yeah, like they all live in this kid's bedroom as like stuffed animals and whatnot, and they find out that this kid is smoking weed. Shit. And they regulate, man. They step in and they're like Bugs Bunny just straight up picks up the spliff and is like, what is this, a joint? You're ruining your life, kid. And it's so weird hearing the Alvin and the Chipmunks saying, that's marijuana. And there's a musical number written by Alan Menken, who did all the Disney songs from the night. It's got an introduction by the Bush administration.
Oh,
like
my
it
God.
is. Now, like, you use the term propaganda, like, I kind of see it like that. And of course, I'm not advocating for a teenager to go and smoke marijuana. Like, I don't want to say, but the way that they presented the facts on it were it's archaic. It's very reefer madness-y.
It seems like, yeah.
It's very reefer madness-y, but it has that added benefit that you see your old cartoon friends along the way. Like, seeing Garfield sing a song about just say no to drugs. Like it's funny to me. Like it's to me one of my favorite pieces of nostalgia. I want to say it came out like late 80s or early 90s. But y'all can still find it on it. Yeah.
Says it needs to be an annual tradition for 420 now.
Oh, it's going to be. Yeah, like yeah, no, we're gonna do it every 420.
I know exactly where I will be April 20th because that shit sounds hilarious, and I've never seen it, man.
We'll watch it again.
That shit sounds hilarious. Nancy Reagan got off to that shit. The war on drugs is fucking hilarious because they lost so badly. Like
it's funny so bad. Yeah,
that was horribly. Are you on TikTok, by the way? There's a lot of talk on TikTok in the chat right now, and some opinions on it and discussions on it. Are you on TikTok?
I am to an extent. So n0stalgiac, yeah, I do have a n0stalgiac TikTok, but that's usually all it's for, is just uploading the clips that I typically put on Hover and Instagram. So that's solely what I use it for. I'm not an active TikToker. So I'm not familiar with a lot of the trends. With my job now, I do have to be more aware of it because our target audience is Gen Z. But so I do have to be in tune with it to an extent. But I don't spend as much time on there as I would, Instagram or.
You're not doing the dances and the trends.
I'm not doing the dances. Not that I'm against the dances. I like the dances, and it's not like
for you.
I will never do the dances. Like I do have some really left field ideas for some TikTok. So if y'all want to follow me on TikTok, like you might see that in the near future. That stuff that's not stream specific. But I haven't gotten into that field just yet. It is a market I do wanna creep into, but Twitch has been taking a lot of my time. Time and whatnot.
Time extensive for sure. How does one go about targeting Gen Z? Asking for a friend. Yo, I've been trying to figure that out as well. Like I've been trying to find the mythical viewer that doesn't stream. The mythical, I don't stream, but I'm just here to watch and support. I'm looking for him. I'm still looking for him. And I believe that there are a lot of Gen Z out there like that they just purely just watch. And like, I'm looking for them. So I've been trying to figure out what to do with TikTok. Me and my wife talk about this, like if TikTok is like, I don't know, like, because she says obviously there's a lot of dumb stuff on there, which I usually retort to. There's a lot of dumb stuff on YouTube, and it's just a platform. It depends on what you use it for. There's a lot of cool stuff and a lot of people using TikTok to like put out cool messages and cool content. And it really just depends on what you're looking for. And, you set up your own algorithm. If you follow the things that you like, it will feed you the things you like. If you follow a bunch of stupid stuff, you will see stupid stuff. And that's about how it goes. But I'm still trying to figure it out, man. I don't fucking understand. Like, and so many people during the pandemic were like, yo, man, my clip blew up on TikTok. I got millions of people now watching me. And I'll be like, fuck, what am I doing?
It makes you second guess your own thing. But that's the thing, is like they probably didn't even know that clip when they uploaded it was gonna blow up like that. So it's like you could be next, but if you're setting that to be your intention, you probably won't find it because like those people didn't. It wasn't like they were like, ooh, I'm gonna hit 300K with this in a minute. It just happened. It just happened. And so I like to take that approach when content creating. And touching back on the Gen Z thing, that's hard for me because I mean, look at my channel. It's targeting 90s babies,
media that they didn't watch.
So it's like but I also want to make it accessible, because I remember before I started content creating, I don't know if you've ever heard of YouTubers like the Nostalgia Critic, Angry Video Game Nerd. Like these guys were playing shit from like the 80s, and so I was indulging in their nostalgia, and I still enjoyed it. And sometimes it would bleed over. Every so often they would talk about early 90s content, and then that's where our overlap would be. So I think it's just a matter of your audience finding you and finding something that they can relate to, even if they're not quote unquote a 90s baby. Like I'm sure there's plenty of people out there born post 2000 who enjoy 90s nostalgia. I think like with anything, man. It's the aesthetic. It's completely different. And you remember us growing up, like it was kind of like the 60s 70s aesthetic was the retro. Like we're moving into that next era where 90s is retro. And
so weird, man.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Things like Nirvana or classic rock now, like it's really strange, because I think of classic rock and I think of like Led Zeppelin and stuff.
Oh, they're classical music now.
Yeah,
like, by comparison,
so far back. Yeah,
yeah, they're like Beethoven.
Straight up, we old, Leo. We old, and it's weird, man. Like, so we're the same birth year, so we're both approaching 30 soon. Like, it just doesn't feel real, man. Like, it does not feel real, bro. Like, because I think about, like, I don't feel old. That's the thing. I don't feel old. Whereas, like, I used to look at 30-year-olds and be like, holy shit, man. Like, they're fucking old. Like, they got like. They're on a whole nother level of old and stuff, and now I'm right there. I'm like, I still feel young. Like, this is nothing but a number.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, that's just a testament to how you're living your life. The probably the 30-year-olds you were seeing when you were a kid may not have been enjoying their life as much as they would have as a kid, you know, since they were kids, because of course the world and the 9-to-5 mentality, it does do a lot, and it justifiably so. We are taught, like, in school, like, this is your purpose, like, to make money, start a family, if you know that's what you do, and get a house or whatever. But if we're able to still do that while being kids, like, why the hell not, you know? Like, it's you have to feed that inner child and not lose it, because that's the truest you. And I think that's why I enjoy vibing with everyone in the chat so much, because it's like, it's just we're just a bunch of kids. Like, yeah, we may not be where we're in our 20s, 30s, 40s, but that's just a number. Like you said, it's not, we are not defined by our age. Like, we're going to define ourselves, you know?
Hell yeah. Yeah, Shani, forever young, to which Leo I was laughing because I saw the forever sprung. I started laughing. I tried to get my inner child into foster care. And that's what I love about the community, man. It's just jokes and like,
I love it.
Always talking about like important stuff and like, you know, very kind-hearted, very sensitive to what people are going through, but it's just funny. Like, everything is meant to, like, you know, they say laughter is the best medicine, so just laugh and have a good time. What are some of your favorite shows from like the 90s and early 2000s?
Ooh, that's a good question. I still love Rugrats. The OG seasons, like pre-movie, I think are like still just like prime content. SpongeBob, first and foremost, like, again, shout out to Shani Sunshine in the chat, my fiance. We met through Facebook, through a friend, because I put a SpongeBob quote in his post. Wow. And we had a mutual friend, and she saw that and she was like, yo, that's funny, like, I need to know who this guy is. So like we bond over. That's why I have a little SpongeBob pop right here as a rep in the 90s. So SpongeBob, those first 3 seasons in the movie, can't go wrong with that. And there's so much.
Wow, what a classic movie. The first one, right?
The first one. Yeah, where they go to Shell City.
Yeah. Holy shit, man. And it's crazy because I've seen SpongeBob like with different animation and stuff, and I'm like, yo, what is going on? Like, this is not the SpongeBob I know.
No, and that's because the original creator, Steve Hillenburg, you know, rest in peace, he left the show after the first movie. He was like, I don't have any more stories to tell. Like, he wanted to go off while it was peaking, but you know, Nickelodeon owns the rights, so they're like, oh no, this makes too much money. So that's where you start seeing that dip in quality that, you know, a lot of people notice. I started watching like the more recent SpongeBobs. They're not as unimaginative as they were during that one period of time. They're getting better, but it's still, you know, there's still nothing gonna touch that magic of the original. Even there's a spin-off called The Patrick Star Show, which I enjoy because it takes it in another direction. It's a lot more. It's a lot more random. They gave Patrick his own show. Yeah, wow. It's like and it's about him and his family when they're a little younger. SpongeBob shows up once in a while, and it's essentially kind of like Pee-wee's Playhouse if it was hosted by Patrick. So I kind of like that vibe. It's like what would a TV show be like in Patrick's mind? That's essentially what it is. So it's a cool concept, and I see them trying. they're at least trying to do something. And I watched an episode of the regular SpongeBob last night where they were just throwing references to the old episodes left and right, which is something they never do. SpongeBob stories are usually self-contained. They were like throwing in references from like season 3, season 1.
Wow.
And I was like, no,
us. They're trying to get.
They're
us,
trying to
man.
get us. No,
Exactly.
It worked. It worked. I laughed. I saw like Sandy's pet was the Alaskan bullworm, and I was like, that's a funny reference. Like
throwback.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's a throwback. So that's, I think, nostalgia is paying off more than ever now. I mean, what's the last Disney movie, live action movie that you've seen that wasn't based on an animated thing? Like it's like, or
They're
something else,
all,
like even Jungle Cruise was based on a ride. So it's like the ideas, it's not that there's no new ideas out there, it's just that studios aren't touching those because they already own the stuff that made money 20 years ago. They may as well. And you know what, like, not to come from a cynical perspective, because I could easily be cynical and be like, Hollywood's running out of ideas. Where's the new shit? If I'm being real, like, hell yeah, I'll take more of the original. I'll take more of the familiar, because I like that. Like, a lot of people didn't enjoy the new Space Jam, and, for good reason. Like, I understand the criticisms, but I turned off my critic brain going into that, and I had a fun time. So I try to approach that with other stuff that is coming from my childhood. I don't believe in the whole thing of, you killed my childhood. If, and no disrespect, but like if your childhood is purely defined on the Rugrats looking like a cartoon versus a 3D animated thing, and that's the one thing that's going to ruin your childhood, I strongly encourage you to dig deeper into your childhood and do some healing at your own pace, because I don't think that is going to be the answer to it.
Yeah, man. I get the criticisms definitely when people are like, why don't they make, because I've thought like that, like, man, they're not thinking of new ideas, they're just rehashing everything and putting like a different little, like, like maybe a more diverse spin on it, but they're not like just creating new characters or new stories. And like, I've thought like that. And but yeah, man, at the end of the day, like, I'm not one of these people that go online and just like, they're fucking turning Ariel's different color, that shit is stupid to me, because it's like, these are characters, these are like, don't get so tied to them. Like, just turn off what you said, turn off your critic mind, go into it with a fresh perspective as if you had never seen it, and just have fun with it, because at the end of the day, it really is fan service. Like, it's just these big studios being like, here's some shit you remember from when you were a kid.
And it works, and that's the thing. It's like, we all watch it as much as we want to complain about it. Our eyes are still on it, and it's not like the old ones don't exist anymore. It's not like, well, unless you're a Star Wars fan, then that shit doesn't exist anymore, like the old George Lucas ones. But like I think my only criticism with doing so much of the familiar is that you do lose new voices. Like, just because I like to see the familiar doesn't mean I don't like to see new stuff. I think Netflix has been a very cool platform for giving different voices, especially in animation, like a chance. I recently watched this show called Centaur World, which is, I think, probably one of the most beautiful and random, funny animated series that I've seen since the Nickelodeon era. And you could tell the people who worked on that drew inspiration from those shows. Like, they're probably our age creating this show. So we are getting a new renaissance of these new cartoons. It's just a matter of people giving them a shot. In the same breath that people say, oh, I want new stuff, they won't give that new stuff a chance when it's there.
How do you feel about like the newer, like, Adventure Time, regular show, like those type of cartoons?
Oh, you know what? That was still in my realm. I still consider those nostalgic. They are on the later end. Like, that was like around 2010. But I did watch Adventure Time. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched enough of it and I enjoyed it. Same with regular show. I will say I did fall, I lost track of them later on in life. But those first 2-3 seasons, I love those. Like, I had a Mordecai and the Rigby shirt. Like, that was, I will still vouch for those shows. Those are great. I think I started to get disheartened. Do y'all remember when Cartoon Network just got real for like a while, and they just showed they just showed live action reality shows for like a cool minute.
Nah, man, is that really what happened? What time was that around?
That was, I want to say, shortly before the regular show era, or it was around that same time. They had this whole block. It was called CN Real, where they would show like these reality shows. And granted, yeah, they still featured kids, but it was all live action stuff for a while there. And that's when they stopped showing cartoons. And I think probably their viewership declined because that didn't last very long. I gave it a shot and I didn't like it. But I was like, I can see what they're doing. They don't think kids are into cartoons anymore. They got to step it up with the real stuff. But your name is Cartoon Network.
Like this isn't working.
This isn't working. So I think recently, like, you know, they've started, I think this past holiday, they started showing old specials from the 90s and 2000s. Okay. So I think we're heading into a new era. Cause like as a kid, I loved like the Flintstones, the Jetsons, like Yogi Bear, but that wasn't a 90s cartoon. Like, sure, they had 90s versions of them, but those were older. Those were 60s. But I only got the opportunity to see them because they were on Cartoon Network. That was the basis for those old Bugs Bunny cartoons. So I hope that future generations will have a place where they can watch the stuff that we watch. And it just seems like it's streaming now. I don't think I think TV's on the way out.
Well, I remember Boomerang too. Was Boomerang by Cartoon Network? Like that was their way of bringing in like more older shows?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So Boomerang now shows the stuff that you and I grew up on. They show Dexter's Lab. They show Johnny Bravo. The thing is, you have to have like a special subscription for that. It's not just part of their deal. So then it presents a whole other challenge of how to consume it. If you don't want to pay for this extra service, well, then you're out of luck. Yeah, luckily, like when I stream shows, I don't go to those sources, because I'm just asking to get pulled off of Twitch. Exactly. If I do that, I find old VHS recordings, and I think that adds to the nostalgia because you're watching usually the first aired premiere, if not, or a rerun of it, and it has I let it play with the commercials intact. They're there, so that's why my stream, I do consider it a fully nostalgic experience, because you're not just getting the show, you're getting the commercials, you're getting the bumpers, you're getting everything that you enjoyed. Because back then, like, I don't know, I didn't walk out of the room when commercials were on. I didn't change the channel when commercials were on. I would sit there and watch it and enjoy the commercials for the most part. If it was on a channel that I liked. Of course, you start watching something on Fox or ABC, the commercials get a little more dry and boring. But they still had some charming ones on there too. Now with streaming is like, if you don't have if you have the premium subscription, you're not going to get ads. And even if you don't have the premium subscription, you're going to get ads, but they're boring as fuck. Like, let's just be real. They're
man,
so dry.
Like, I remember like Sock 'em Boppers and like such cool stuff. Yeah, cool ass commercials. And then I wonder if that's just because like I was a kid, so I enjoyed those more. But now I get adult commercials, but adult commercials are boring as shit.
No, but even when we were in the 90s, adult commercials were still fun.
Yeah, they just became all boring, man. And I like adult cartoons, like stuff like Rick and Morty, BoJack Horseman. Like I love stuff like that. F is for Family. They have really, really good adult cartoons with like adult themes, and like they knew like, hey, we watched this stuff when we were younger. Just make it in scenarios that we're now later on in our lives, and I love that stuff.
I think it speaks to us too. Yeah.
It definitely does. I just want to read this. Remember when Nickelodeon would get real late at night with sad childhood situations? See, I don't, because I don't know if I got to watch stuff like that as like a kid that late at night. So like that's the type of stuff that I want to go back and I want to see, like, because the creators at that time were all in the age that we are now. So like I always wonder like how they put in their little adult jokes into the stuff that they were creating.
Yeah, one show I can probably attest to what Shawnee Sunshine is saying. As Told by Ginger was a cartoon. Like they would show it during the day, but it was mostly like a later Nickelodeon show, and that one dealt with very real coming of age themes. I've watched it recently, and I'm like, they tackle divorce, they tackle death, they tackle pretty much very heavy-handed things in the best way that they could have back then. Now you have series, I don't know if you're familiar with Steven Universe. Infinity Train, two of my favorite animated series, deal with them a lot more head on. But I think those shows, like As Told by Ginger, kind of paved the way for them. They weren't able to handle everything, but they did tackle sad situations. Even the live action stuff. I remember some show called Caitlin's Way about this girl who was a juvenile delinquent, and they sent her to a horse ranch to try to find herself again. And yeah, it's a little more on the drier side, but it does present, like, not everything in life is goofy and fun. Like, it presents that very real scenario in a childlike way that's accessible to other audiences.
Hey, and now speaking of like those real moments, is there ever been a time where you maybe took like a failure or a loss, but you somehow turned that L from a loss to a lesson, like somehow that you used it as an encouragement? Or has there ever been a situation like that?
Oh, I mean, like, are you referring to like in the stream, like in the content creation world, or just in general? Oh, in life.
Just in life.
Oh God,
Yeah.
where do I get started? Yeah, no, I mean, every time I've had a job where I'm just like, I'm not happy here, and if I quit this job, I'm just gonna be seen as a loser and a coward for leaving. Like, if I didn't step up and say, hey, I'm gonna leave to do this next, I would be stuck. So that what was initially an L became a W, essentially. Same with relationships. Every breakup I've been through, like, it's painful in the moment, but you're just seeing a small fraction. And now, happily engaged and with a partner who supports my dreams and aspirations, versus thinking I'm in love in the past with someone who doesn't, who snaps when I put on Hey Arnold on the TV, like, we're not watching that. Like, I've experienced that, and it's like, that's not fun. But in that moment, you're so attached to this idea of like, oh well, if not to speak for everyone, but some of us feel like, yo, it has to be this person because I am becoming older and I'm not going, like, it has to be it. I just have to make it work. Commit. And I have to commit. And it doesn't help that some of us, whether it be parents, relatives, friends, like, some of us didn't see the most ideal examples of them going to work and enjoying what they were doing. We didn't see them having healthy communication in their relationships. If anything accelerated to raising voices, that was seen as normal. And that's, if that's some people's normal, so be it. But it's like, if something's wrong with that and you continue to live your life that way, this is a shitty truth, but you are now choosing that life for yourself. You cannot blame anyone else for it once you are aware that you're the mastermind behind it, because it's gonna suck to say goodbye to things, whatever that may be, whether it be a habit, whether it be a job, whether it be a person in your life. But all of those L's are going to eventually, with intention, of course, become a win. And I take that approach with content creating as well. Every time I've put out a video or a film that people say, oh, I didn't like that, I could have been like, yo, I'm just gonna give up. And I did. There was a period of time where I just stopped content creating. And even with Twitch streaming, like, in the past, when I've been making films, when I was working on YouTube, I would get really excited about it, get to a point, and then be like, I'm not getting the numbers I want. I'm just give up. And I'm be lying if I said that didn't happen with Twitch too. As much as I hyped up putting yourself first earlier, it's not like I don't get discouraged sometimes. It's not like I haven't been tempted to be like, all right, well, I guess this Twitch thing isn't, I'm just gonna stop. Of course. But it's when people come into the chat and they thank me and they're like, you're doing a really good job here. Like, you are bringing childhood back. Even if it's just one person watching, that's one soul that I would have otherwise not been in contact with and not been able to help just by playing some cartoons on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that was beautifully said. Definitely beautifully said. And one of my questions was on the list, like, what discourages you from content creation? But I think we definitely touched upon that. And it's good that you don't get fully discouraged and say, like, you know, I'm not getting the numbers that I think I should be getting, or because it's real easy to compare yourself as well to other streamers and be like, man, like, why are they getting this? And like, why do they have these numbers and I'm not?
Yeah.
And like my stuff, you know, and you get real bitter like that. And it's definitely not a good way. Like, those feelings just fester inside you and they're not good to hold, man.
It's not good. And especially the comparison thing, like you said, like, yes, as niche and original as, you know, the n0stalgiac stream is for showing these kinds of things, I'm not going to act like I'm the only streamer on Twitch doing that. I have seen other streamers showing nostalgia commercials and TV shows, and their viewers are, you know, quote unquote higher or whatnot. And of course, in the moment, it's like, oh, what am I doing wrong? But if you tune into their stream, it's a completely different vibe. They're original. They're them. So it's like, again, like, yeah, you could be playing Apex Legends. There's tons of other people playing it as well. But what makes your stream original to them? Like, not, you know, there is no better. There is no worse. It's just finding the audience that you vibe with.
Yep.
And if everyone had the mentality of, oh, this person's already doing it, I may as well not even try, then nothing good is going to get created. Nobody's going to do it. Exactly. And it's super inspiring to me when I see people who have found my channel who are just starting with Twitch, and then when I go to see their channel, and granted, I'm not going to try to take credit for like inspiring people, but I'll see elements of my stream in theirs, and I'm like, did something spark? The way that when I was late night perusing on Twitch and I found that one Twitch streamer who was watching VHS tapes, and that kind of sparked the interest. Like, I'm not gonna be a gatekeeper here. I'm not gonna try to be like, no, you can't watch nostalgia, that's me. Like, no, the opposite. I want people to be able to enjoy that kind of stuff in their own way, you know?
Hell yeah, that's amazing. And what do you like to do outside of streaming? Like, what else do you like to do just for fun?
Oh, for fun? Oh, I love, I'm always at the movies. Me and my fiance are always at the movies. We got that AMC membership, so we can just go whenever we want to. Earlier we talked about painting. I've been getting back into painting again. I do enjoy that. Gaming, I do play video games off stream. I typically play stuff that I wouldn't, isn't, I'm not gonna act like n0stalgiac stream always is nostalgic stuff. Like, every so often we'll play, like, we've had community game nights with like Smash Bros and Mario Kart.
Newer
like that
stuff.
happens. But that's still nostalgic in a way, because the feeling of playing those games with friends is nostalgic. But every so often, like off stream, I'll play a game that like probably would require more concentration than me being on stream. And just going to new theaters, getting away for a little bit. Like for my birthday, we went out to San Diego, got a hotel, went to this really cool IMAX dome thing to watch an anime, and got some dinner at a spot. And like that's what I love. That's what I love to do. I used to be a lot more quote unquote social, not like, you know, out at the bars and the clubs, like that kind of stuff. But if I'm being real with myself, that wasn't, it was fun in the moment, but we tried doing that a couple months ago. It wasn't that. It didn't hit the same. Yeah. So like, I'm very much like, hey, I'm coming home from work, let's just vibe, smoke, and watch some cartoons and chill. And to me, that's fun, because that's what I've always found to be fun. When I started pushing myself to go out and drink, to go out and party, to go, you know, go to the clubs and whatnot, I was doing what was my idea of fun, and I was second guessing what my true idea of fun was, which is just, sometimes I just want to be alone and watch cartoons. Like, and I don't think that's anything wrong with that. Definitely
not. Do what you enjoy, man. And like, you have certain phases throughout your life. Like maybe you just grew out of that social phase where it was going out. Like nothing wrong with that. You experienced it, you did it, and now you moved on to something else that you enjoy. So what do you not like doing? Like, what is like your least favorite things to do? Like when you're off stream?
When I'm off stream, least favorite things to do. Wow. Again, probably going out to those kinds of clubs and stuff. Like once, if it's a special occasion, like if we're celebrating somebody's birthday, of course, like I'm gonna try to be there, you know, have a shot with you or something like that. But I don't even drink like that at all anymore. So I would say probably like things if there's a lot of people, it's a place I don't want to be. Like, not to sound like a hermit or anything, but if I'm gonna go out to a concert or a music festival, the vibe has to be my vibe. For me to truly soak it in and enjoy it. And even things that I used to find annoying, like tidying up a house and like cleaning, like I actually find some solace in that. I find meditative purpose in that. I think even playing Animal Crossing during the pandemic, a game where essentially all you do is chores, like it made it fun again.
It was just, man, it's peace of mind. Just peace of mind and like routine sometime.
Yeah, exactly.
And then last few questions. What's some like advice that you could give to content creators? Like, at what point also do you think people should start focusing on like, I should make a website, I should do this for a brand, as opposed to just like doing it just to do it? Like, at what point do you really start focusing in on like, you know, kind of like the more business side of things that are kind of inevitable?
Oh yeah, of course. The business side of things is very important. But first and foremost, you have to have something to make a business around. If you're already planning what the website's gonna look like, what the channel, like what the aesthetic's gonna look like, who you're gonna go out for sponsorships, like I feel like you've lost you don't have anything. You don't have anything to sell yet. like point blank, you don't have anything to sell. So you have to do that first. And that's I wrote a note to myself just in a very vulnerable state a couple months ago, where I wrote to myself, I put, don't overthink, just do. And I keep it by me all the time. I'll share that with you back. I have it on this piece of paper.
Hey,
that I hold right next to my computer. In those moments, it's not bad to give your stream some thought. Like, clearly your stream is very meticulously thought out. I love the vibe that you're giving here. And that did take a certain level of pre-production, planning, you know, even just this conversation, you and I, you setting up OBS to host people. There's nothing wrong with that. That's encouraged. That shows that you're putting some production value in that. But if you put production value before content, that is where it can get a little dicey. I'm sure when you first started, you just did it. You had to do it. So for anyone who's just starting out, I would just say, just do it. Like, you could be playing to 0 viewers, but you know who else probably played to 0 viewers? Just about any of the streamers you see on the front page.
Yeah, your favorite streamer.
All of them. Your favorite streamer started out with 0 viewers. So why can't you be someone's favorite you know, you can be someone's favorite streamer.
Boom.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. Like, I have people coming into my chat, which is so nice to hear when they say I'm one of their favorite streamers, because I'm not on the front page. So that means they had to do some digging into things that they enjoy to find me. Twitch isn't going to put me on the front page, at least not yet. I would love that. But I also know the bigger I become, the less intimate it's going to be. So I'm enjoying the intimacy right now. I'm enjoying the vibes of having the low number, like, not even low. I don't even like saying that. Like, even that coming out of my mouth is weird, because it's not low. You know, having 1 viewer compared to 1,000 of the people on the front page. Yeah, of course, from a business perspective, you know, if you're trying to get to Twitch partner, of course you're gonna want to create content if that's your major stream of income. For me, this isn't my major stream of income, and I don't treat it as such. I do to an extent. I treat it as a source of income, but primarily it's to bring people joy. It's to share positivity. And if, you know, money comes from it, so be it. But I wouldn't even get to the point where I am now if I just didn't do it. So that's all I have to say. Just do it. And so many people for years told me, you have so many great ideas, just do it. And I didn't do it. So I don't like to see that as lost time, but I do see it as time I needed to work up the confidence.
Yeah, man.
To go through with it. Yeah.
For real. I do love that, because there are so many times in my life where I'm like, man, why didn't I start this like right out of high school? Or if I had done this like right out of college, I would have so many more friends that I've lost throughout the years. They would be supporting me, and I'll have more and then I'm just like, man, why am I starting this so late? But like, that's just not where I was in life. Like, there's nothing I can
Yeah.
do about that. I did not know about this. I did not have maybe the funds to have, like, you know, the computer I have, or the microphone or the camera or anything. And, you know, you can't get hung up on that stuff of like, why didn't I start this earlier in my life? Like, or when I was younger, like, for whatever reason you didn't, and whatever you did in life got you to this point. So now start doing it here. The last thing I want, though, is like 5 years from now, me being like, man, I should have started this 5 years ago. No, I'm going to start it now because I got the idea now.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing is, like, you have the idea, jump on it.
Yeah.
Because the longer you sit with it without doing it, the more outside, like, whether it be, you know, an old relative or an old teacher or an old partner, somebody who may have doubted you in the past. Because, you know, we all have our doubters. We all have the haters in life. And I'm blessed to have so much support just through all areas of my life. But it sucks because, you know, you could have 99 supporters, people behind your back, and then there's that one person that says something otherwise, and you totally forget about the 99. You got to flip that perspective. You got to be like, no, okay, maybe my stream's not for this person.
Exactly.
That's okay. But there's, you know, for every like 9 people who don't like the stream, there's gonna be one person who does. So it's just about, you know, throwing as much stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks.
Exactly. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you have to enjoy the thing that you're throwing.
Exactly. Yeah. Grand Piano Man, you should always want to be someone's favorite streamer, straight up, and then just not get hung up on the fact that you might not be somebody's cup of tea. Like,
I agree.
And I've felt it, man. Like, I've had raids come in and I'm like, yo, like, I see the number or whatever, and I'm like, oh, nobody's talking. Shit, man. Maybe they just don't like that I'm so hype and I'm so loud. Like, should I tone it down? And that's when I start questioning, like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't be so hype, or maybe I shouldn't do this that I'm doing. Maybe I shouldn't be so wild. Maybe I should tone it down. Maybe people are looking for something more chill. But then, like, I try and tell myself, like, fuck that, man. Like, if they want something chill, they'll go find something chill. If they want the hypeness, they'll come here, and that's it.
Dude, that's a beautiful mentality to have. You just, you know, I know it's hard sometimes, but you do snap yourself out of it real quick. Like, no, like, it's not about you at the end of the day. It's whatever they're going through, and you just have to stay true to you. And touching on what who was it that said the thing about the Grand Piano Man saying you should always try to be someone's favorite streamer? I totally agree with you. But at the end of the day, you should be your own favorite streamer. If you are streaming and you are not your favorite streamer, I would invite you to revisit your tactics or whatever you're doing. Because at the end of the day, if you go back and you watch your own stream and you don't like it, then it will show later on, and you really have to be your favorite streamer. And that could sound narcissistic, it could sound selfish or whatnot, but it's not. There's a difference between, you know, being cocky about it and being like, yeah, no, I'm the best fucking streamer on Twitch. Like, no, I'm not saying do that either. Like, don't let it get to your head either. But at the same time, like, if you got to be someone that you enjoy watching, because that's also going to translate. Like I used to hate watching myself on camera. I hated looking at myself on tape. But as I've, you know, gotten more into just letting myself be, I watch back some of my highlights on, like, when I'm editing clips. I'm like, yo, this dude's pretty fucking funny. like
I like this guy.
I like this guy.
Nah, man, that's an amazing thing.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever get this. When you're in the flow of streaming, do you ever like you're so in the moment, and then you go back and you watch the VOD, or you go and edit your clip? Do you ever like be like, I said that, or we talked about that? Does that ever happen to you too?
Hell yeah, man. Like, there'll be times where I watch it back and I'm like, damn, I kind of killed that.
And that's exactly the mentality I would recommend for anybody who's starting out streaming. If you watch your VOD back and you're like, yeah, no, I like this, the audience is going to find you. You're on the right track.
You're on the right track, for sure, for sure. Man, I love this conversation. You have brought so much positive energy. You have brought boof. You have brought boof to the stream, baby. Yo, I love it. I love it. Please do plug yourself in. Let everybody know where they can find you, man, and what times you stream.
Please, yeah. Everyone's always welcome. n0stalgiac. It's actually, it's right there at the bottom with the O is a 0.
There it is.
Look me up. Come through. I'm usually on very late at night. Like I said, if you were like an Adult Swim kid or a Nick at Night kid, like that's that's the time of the day or the night you'll find me. I'm on the Pacific Coast. I'm over in California, so I'm usually live somewhere around 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. On the later side. On occasion, I will do an earlier stream to get people who may not be up that late, but I have found a majority of the people who enjoy the stream are the late night owls like myself. So if you're a late night owl, you can catch me mostly on the weekends, but every so often I do squeeze in a midweek stream.
Beautiful, beautiful. And if you type something in the stream right now, just so, because I want to shout you out, but I can only shout out people that are in.
Let me type it up.
I think, yeah, that's the way it's been. But this has been an amazing conversation, and honestly, we're gonna shout out everything on Twitch, on Twitter, everywhere that I'm at, Instagram. You will see. Let me put that. There we go. There's the special shout out. Make sure go check them out. n0stalgiac, awesome fucking conversation. You really killed it. Electric Dreams 9, fantastic info and advice. Much appreciated. Hell yeah. I'm glad you got to catch n0stalgiac, because it seems like they were really trying to watch you and stuff. And oh shit, Snayrat, thank you so much for the host. 12. Thank you so much. You gotta reintroduce yourself and give yourself another pitch, because there's more people in here now.
There's more people now. Yeah, no, y'all, welcome to the Raiders. Welcome everybody. Yo, props to you. Again, I'm here with my boy XAVE. We doing an interview, and my name's n0stalgiac. We watch 90s and 2000s TV shows, commercials, cartoons, all that good stuff on my channel. We was just plugging it in the chat. And I'm up usually late at night most weekends and during the week. So come through and vibe in the chat, pass the booth, and vibe with some OG commercials, cartoons, anything y'all can think of, no matter what part of the world you're coming from. I got you with the nostalgia plug.
Hey, they really, the whole stream is such a cool aesthetic. It's a fucking whole vibe. I feel like I got to ask you one more question just so that people can get a little bit of answers. What does it mean for you, like, to be an entertainer on Twitch? Like, what would you say it means to be an entertainer?
See, that's the thing, is like, it's so funny you say that, because at the end of the day, I am an entertainer on Twitch, but I don't really I don't see it that way. Like, I'm just a guy who likes to vibe with people and chill and watch cartoons and old commercials. And the fact that entertainment comes from that just shows that a lot of entertainment can just come from being real. And of course I get hyped and whatnot, but that's just how I would be IRL too. So I mean, to be an entertainer on Twitch, like it's just about being yourself and seeing how many other people are being themselves and finding you, and it's like maybe both of yourselves are pretty not that different. And I think it's just about finding a community to vibe with. It's about finding some cool people to interact with both on and off stream, and just providing a safe space for your viewers, for anyone who finds the stream. Especially, again, shout out to the Raiders, because a lot of people who raid have never heard of you. So it's a matter of making them feel welcome right away. You don't want to alienate your audience, or I've been in the chat of the front page streamers, so to speak, and you do get lost at times. Like, it's not, you do, like, you can meet friends in their chat, but if you're really trying to communicate with the streamer, and again, no disrespect to anyone who does that, because everybody has their own streaming styles. Mine is more conversational. Like, yes, we watch the shows and we watch the cartoons and we watch the commercials, and yes, they play, but we're actively talking throughout it. I'm not just letting it play and being like, okay, on to the next one. It's an engaging conversation. People have stuff they want to share. We share it. Any perspective that I can offer that might be of use to someone, I'm going to share it. So it's not just about entertaining, but also just being a friend.
Straight up being a friend, man. That's really like the whole feeling. It feels like it's just being at a friend's house and watching stuff with them, but digitally. And it's really cool when people come in and raid and whatever, and they actually speak and like or just lurk, man. Anything that just being there
is so dope. Just being here,
because it feels good to know that people have similarities to you. Sometimes it can feel like, man, nobody likes the type of shit I like because it's so niche or it's so weird or it's so different. And you start feeling like, man, am I alone? Like, is there something off about me that I like watching, like, you know, these old fucking videos, these old cartoons? And then when you see people there, not even looking at the numbers, just if anybody's there, you're just like, wow, there's actually people I can enjoy this with, people that I can communicate with this and actually relate to this. And my bad, if I could ask you one more question just to wrap it all up.
As many questions you want, like I got all the time.
All right, in your opinion, Cartoon Network or Nicktoons, like when we were growing up, what had better what had the better roster?
Tough one, but I will say there was probably a brief period of time where I didn't watch Cartoon Network, so I'm gonna have to side. If I have to choose, I'm gonna have to side with Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon's always been a constant.
Yeah, they've had some good ones.
Disney Channel was there too. Disney Channel had some bops. But I okay, earlier you asked like, oh, which cartoons you go back and you watch and you're not as fun. I think some of the Disney stuff isn't as fun as I used to remember it being.
Like which
not
ones?
all of it.
I'm trying to remember what was on there. Like I remember like That's So Raven.
Oh, that still holds up. I still like that.
Holds up?
That still holds up. I feel like for me, I don't know. Like I love Lizzie McGuire. I will say the first couple of episodes or first season doesn't hold up as well as I remember it. But I will always stand the Lizzie McGuire movie.
The movie is a staple,
The movie is a staple. I feel like that's in my top 10 just anything. Like I love that film. I think I started watching some of the old like Disney afternoon stuff. Like I remember loving like Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers as a kid. Maybe I just started off wrong with maybe the first season's a little rough or something. I need to get back into that. But in the same breath I say that, I watched the OG DuckTales.
Yeah,
that still holds up.
DuckTales.
That still holds up. Woo!
Oh like, man, what a classic
it's still a banger. Even the new one was pretty good from what I saw. But yeah, no, Nickelodeon all the way. Cartoon Network, very close second, especially if we talking like Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls. Those was my shits.
Oh my god, man, they had good dude, even the what's it called? The what is it? Billy and Mandy?
Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. I love that to this day.
Man.
Yeah,
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Courage.
Powerpuff Girls. I'm looking at like a picture right now here, and like Foster's Home for Imaginary Kids.
Yes.
Bangers, man.
So bangers. Yeah, I saw that they just made a new Courage the Cowardly Dog like DVD movie with Scooby-Doo.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen it yet, but it's been on my to watch list. Hopefully they drop it on streaming soon.
We do have a bunch of Team Nicks. Nayrad, thank you for being here. Thank you for the host, man. Team Nick. Like I said, there was a bunch of shows I didn't get to watch as a kid just because they were on cable. So like I didn't have it. I just didn't have access to it. But I know them, you know, I would see them at like cousin's house or like friend's house when I was here and there, and like they'll always hold like a special memory in my heart, like those cartoons that you just related to, because the protagonists were also kids and stuff, and you saw like the wild wacky adventures that they would get into and stuff. And sometimes life would be boring, man. I grew up in like suburbs, so like sometimes life was very monotonous, and you would watch these like wacky adventures that they would get into, and you'd be like, that's fucking cool, man. Like you
were right there with them.
Yup. Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Yo, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, do you have any recommendations for where to raid? That's what I always love doing, is raiding somebody that the guest recommends. That way we could just go and show love to anybody in your community.
Oh, totally. I mean, are you asking somebody who's live now or just in general?
Yeah, if you could think of anybody. If not, it's all cool. I'm trying to think of who I could raid. That's like, usually I ask like the guests, hey, do you know anybody? That way we can just go and show some love.
Oh, you know what? I got my live list like right next to me. So let's take a look. Let's see who's actually streaming. That would be beautiful.
Yeah, man, I would love to. And also, I would love to have you back on in the future. I would love to collaborate with you. This is what I love about podcasting, and I love bringing people on. I just get to meet cool-ass people that I'm like, yo, I have this idea, and it would be really cool to do this idea with you because I like your vibe and all this. And you are definitely somebody who I could see collaborating with and having a good-ass time, man. It's just fun as hell.
Count me in.
Hell yeah.
Likewise, I think I told you during the setup, like, I love what you're doing here with the whole talk show podcast setup. That's something that n0stalgiac will eventually be, where I want streamer friends to be on to watch stuff with me in real time.
I was going to ask you
one of the
about
first
that.
ones. Yeah.
Okay, so that's something you want to do in the future. That would be sick. That would be 100% so cool for you to do. Just to do what you're doing now, but with a friend.
Yeah, and you'll be one of the first ones I hit up when that time comes. So
hey, many blessings, many blessings. Thank you so much, man. Thank you to everybody who came through tonight. Thank you to everybody from the Nostalgiac community. What do you call them? Nostalgiacs?
Nostalgiacs.
Nostalgiacs. Oh, like that. Animaniacs?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, because like, you know, my name's Nostalgiac. Some people read it as Nostalgiac, and I was like, you know what? That has a ring to it too.
Hey, that's
so
what
I didn't want to like miss out on that. So like,
and you know what? Nostalguac.
Nostalguac. That's gonna be the new emote. I gotta get it. So I will drop the name in the chat of the person that I think would be great. It's a VTuber friend who shows so much support.
Hell yeah.
So let me find their exact
let's spread that love.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll get that in the chat momentarily.
All right, I'm gonna just hop out of the Discord call, and then I'm gonna go to the full screen. That way I could just plug in everything I gotta plug in.
Totally.
But thank you so much, man. Have an amazing night. Have a great time, and I will talk to you soon.
Yes, please keep in touch. And so long to all of y'all, and hope to see y'all soon. And thanks again for having me, XAVE. I appreciate you.
Hey, no doubt, man. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Talk to you soon. Peace.